what is question 4C about? Clearly, if you read the question, 4C is about the real GDP, right? And then if that is the case, then you have to think about the formula for real GDP. So real GDP, how can we calculate it? It is equal to nominal GDP divided by the price level. So this is the formula that you must consider to see whether real GDP increased or decreased since 2018 quarter 3. So some of your classmates suggest these answers here. So let us look at these answers one by one. So the first answer suggested by your classmate is like this. You know that from the table, so the actual inflation rate is positive, right? And that means somehow we have inflation. And the denominator, that means the price level here becomes larger. At the same time, the nominal GDP also given in table 2. And if you look at the table here, so it's actually you can know that the nominal GDP actually increases at the same time, right? And some of you told me that, because these two both increased. And finally, real GDP increased. Actually, I don't know why that is the case. So the first 2 points are correct based on the tables given, but I don't know why you have that conclusion. If you look at the formula, we have nominal GDP over price level. This is a fraction, right? Then you need to think about the numerator and also the denominator. First of all, you know that the denominator is larger. 分母係大咗嘅，咁個分數會點啊？分母大咗，個分數就會細咗。Real GDP drops, right? At the same time, the nominal GDP increases. 分子都係大咗嘅，分子係大咗嘅，咁個分數會點啊？咪大咗咯。Okay, and that's why there are two changes, one leading to a drop, another leading to a rise. Then finally, do we know whether there is a rise or a drop? Actually, we don't know, right? We have to compare the percentage changes of these two. And that's why this is not correct answer. And some of your classmates did better. You know that, finally, we don't know the change in the real GDP. And that's why you just tell me that, these two increased. And that's why real GDP finally may increase or decrease. This is not the perfect answer either. Why this is not the perfect answer? Because somehow, as I have reminded you for many times, if you have some statistics in the question, you must do a little bit of calculation, right? So you have got the real GDP, nominal GDP. You have got the change in the price level, right? So somehow you can do the calculation and see whether real GDP increase or decrease. Because you have numbers, you have to do the calculation. And some of the better students, you know you have to do the calculation, and you now do the calculation. For price level, no need to do because the question already gave you this 1.7%, right? So this is the percentage change in the price level. How about the nominal GDP? You only have the absolute values of the nominal GDP, but you haven't got the percentage change. And some of you know that you need to calculate the percentage change, right? So how to calculate the percentage change? 新減舊除舊乘100%。咁條題目最盡就俾到2019 quarter 3啊嘛，咁你新減舊除舊乘100%。Some of you did something like that. You have these two 21,000 something minus 21,000 something divided by 21,340 here. Then you get this percentage change in nominal GDP. This is pretty good. 新減舊除舊乘100%. And you do the subtraction of the percentage changes here. Then you find out a negative sign. Then you answer real GDP. This is pretty good. But actually not correct. This is not correct. Why this is not correct? Because actually in the table, you can look at the inflation rate first. For the inflation rate, do you have the quarterly change or the annual change? Somehow you have the annual change of the price level, right? So you have the annual change. If you want to compare the percentage changes in the price level and also the nominal GDP, you need the annual percentage change in normal GDP as well. Otherwise, you can't compare. I can't compare this annual inflation rate with a quarterly percentage change in normal GDP, right? And that's why when you need to find out the percent change in normal GDP, what you need to do, this is obviously the new normal GDP, right? 咁新減舊乘舊除舊乘100%個舊就應該點啊？計翻上年個 normal GDP 啊嘛。You can't just find out the normal GDP in the previous quarter, but in the previous year, so that you can find out the annual percentage change in the normal GDP. And that's why you need this one, 20,750 to find out the annual percentage change. And that's why here you should have 20,750. 20,750 to find out the percentage change. And you should get 3 point something for the percentage change in normal GDP. And you take the subtraction, you will see that there should be a positive percentage change in real GDP, and that means real GDP became larger.